please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Important story this evening. India will cross 8% growth in next 2 years. That's an optimistic target by Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu. The surge in growth, Prabhu believes, will be due to few strategies that are now yielding fruit. He, in fact, also interestingly added that the new industrial policy will be out very soon and that it will propel fourth industrial revolution in India. Here's his rationale.
Year 18, that's calendar year 18, will be, or you can even say financial year, will be better. So 16, 17, 17, 18 has been better than 16, 17. 18, 19 will be better than 17, 18. And I should not be surprised that in the next few quarters or say next 2 years for sure, will be very close to or will cross 8% growth rate. We are coming out very soon with a new industrial policy. In fact, the ministry has already finalized it after very intensive consultation with many stakeholders. And it's already there. We have already finalized it. It's at the various ministerial scale. This policy essentially is going to make India ready for the fourth industrial revolution and beyond. India will be touching $5 trillion economy. So how that $5 trillion should look like? It will happen. So that again is that our both commerce and industry, we are preparing a plan of $1 trillion, that's 20% of that GDP, should come from manufacturing. $3 trillion will come from services, for which Commerce Department, we prepared a plan for champion sector, 12 champion sectors, for 5,000 crores. We already set aside, Cabinet has approved 12 champion sectors, which will propel India into a global trajectory for services as well.
Talking about propelling India into the larger growth roadmap globally, electric two-wheeler startup Ather on Tuesday commercially unveiled two smart electric scooters after 450 and Ather 340 in Bengaluru. Ather 340 is the company's entry-level model, while the Ather 450 is a higher power and higher speed version with the same physical appearance. But Ather Energy isn't offering their new electric scooters to customers. They're also promising an entire charging infrastructure too, including free charging. CNBC TV18's Parikshit Luthra spoke to the company's CEO Tarun Mehta about the scooter's launch and its specifications. Listen in.
With this product, we are really trying to change the perception of what electric vehicles are typically looked at. Most people think electric vehicles are slow, they're weak, they really can't accelerate fast enough, they can't carry enough people, they're really poorly built. So what we've built with the Ather 340 and the Ather 450 are possibly one of the best scooters in the market. They have one of the fastest acceleration, they have one of the best torque out there, their hill climbing ability is one of the best. I think the key is to get public charging infrastructure, which is really prevalent, and get them in places where people will actually stop by. So what we have already done, even before we launched the vehicle, we launched Ather Grid, which is our public charging network, about 2-3 weeks back in Bangalore. So as we speak, we've got already 17 points up, and another 30 are coming up in the next few weeks.
Moving on to a developing story, deadline draws closer for IDBI and Federal Bank to reply to Max Life's letter. Remember, this letter came after IDBI and Federal Bank had put fresh conditions on the stake sale of IDBI Federal Life yesterday. Max Life has issued a number of new conditions in that letter and has threatened to walk out if both the players did not respond to it by the end of the day. Yash Jain, who was the first to break that story, is here with the details. Yash, what exactly are the developments, and is today the D-Day when we know if Max is walking out or not?
Well, Kritika, of course, CNBC TV18 was the first to report about this letter, which was written by the Max Group to the IDBI Federal Life Management, laying down some prerequisites as far as the buyout for the company is concerned. What were these prerequisites? On the bancassurance front, of course, the Max Group wanted an exclusive 10-year bancassurance tie-up, performance guarantee as far as that particular tie-up is concerned, and indemnification if IDBI and Federal Bank do not live up to their promise on this bancassurance front. What are we looking out for today? The chairman of Max Group, Mr. Analjeet Singh, on CNBC TV18 made it very clear that he's written a letter to the IDBI Federal Life Management asking for their take in terms of acceptance of these conditions, and if he receives a negative reply or if he doesn't receive a reply from IDBI Federal Life, then he would be willing to walk out of this insurance deal. So yes, in some time from now, we are waiting whether there is any reply at all from IDBI Federal Life. If it's negative, it's positive, and how does Max Group really reciprocate to that particular response?
Okay, we need to watch out till today evening at least to understand if that is something that's going to happen. Max walking out of that very important deal. Moving on, in its drive against shell companies, government has identified over 2 lakh shell companies that may be struck off during FY19. This comes in line with MCA Secretary to CNBC TV 18. He also added that some of the deregistered companies have approached NCLT for restoration, and MCA will run KYC-like mechanisms to identify genuine companies. Here's his rationale.
As far as cleanup is concerned, already, as you are aware, we had the first drive where about 2.26 lakh companies were deregistered, removed from the register, and very negligible number from that have, I think, less than 5,000 have approached the NCLT for restoration, which means 99% the target was correct. We have also looked at companies which are filing returns but which are filing zero turnover and for 2 years or more. Again, it's a question that if you are existing as a company, you're filing your turnover, you're filing your returns, but you're zero turnover, for unduly long period, then what are you there for? Then comes the question of the directors. Today you have about 33 lakh directors, 3.3 million directors. How many are genuine directors? How many are dummy directors? So we'll be running a very, very well-designed KYC for the directors to see that, all the dummy directors, non-existent directors, that's again cleaned up. So that's another very major exercise. And you'll also have a KYC, coming up for the companies. Do companies have physical presence? Sometimes, people say that 1,000 companies are in one building or 100 companies are in one room.
Very typical of shell companies.
Okay, so which is typical of shell companies. So these are the things through KYC drives and other, national level drives. You'll clean up the registry, and what will be left would most likely be genuine directors and genuine companies.
All right, on to our CNBC TV 18 special analysis. We are almost halfway into 2018. It's not been a memorable year so far for India Inc. Allegations of bribery, fraud and conflict of interest have been levelled against several influential corporate leaders, and the CBI itself is investigating a number of these cases. Utkarsh Chaturvedi, who tracks this space very closely, is here with a status check on 8 such influential names that the CBI has on its radar. Utkarsh, what's the status of these cases?
Exactly, Kritika. CBI has had its hand full when it comes to these cases, and top India Inc. honchos are under the lens. Now, number one, we have to start with Chanda Kochhar here. The CBI did file a preliminary inquiry in the ICICI Videocon case, but has not found enough evidence to file an FIR. Now, this leads us to Venugopal Dhoot, the chairman of Videocon Industries, who has also been named in the preliminary inquiry. Additionally, there is a lookout notice against Mr. Dhoot, which means that he cannot leave the country until the investigations is over. Number 3, Kishore Kharat. The reason, the Aircel IDBI case. CBI alleges that a loan of around 600 crores rupees was given to C. Sivasankaran company, C. Sivasankaran group of companies in fraudulent manner, and the top officials of IDBI Bank were involved. Now, Kishore Kharat was the MD of IDBI Bank and thus has found the name in the FIR. Staying with the same case, Melvin Rego, ex-IDBI Bank officials and currently serving as Syndicate Bank MD, is also an accused. One more in the same case. CBI has named S. Ravi, who was the independent director of the bank, also in this case. Latest in the AirAsia bribery case. Now, there are allegations that AirAsia top brass Tony Fernandes and Tata Trust chairman R. Venkatraman bribed the government officials to amend or remove the controversial 520 rule. CBI had raided the house of R. Venkatraman earlier this week and has summoned Tony Fernandes to be present for questioning. Tony, till this point of time, has not yet come for the questioning. We will have to really wait and watch. But both Tony and Venkat has been named in the FIR. Finally, the case on Usha Anand Subramaniam, ex-MD Allahabad Bank. Now, she has also been charge-sheeted with accusations of ignoring the RBI letters and guidelines on linking SWIFT with core banking systems. Now, the NSE co-location case also gets a worthy mention too. Now, unknown officials of SEBI and NSE are named in this case, and there can be a fresh twist in this case as well. So we will keep you up to date with all the developments, if any, happened in this case. And as you said, CBI has had its hand full when it comes to investigation, especially on top India leaders this year.